WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Since the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak as a global pandemic, millions of lives have been upended with economic activities being disrupted all around the world. While almost the entire world has been affected by this virus, Southeast Asia was one of the first regions to be impacted owing to its geographical proximity and supply chain links to China. This growing crisis is severely impacting the Southeast Asian economy, and its impacts are only predicted to increase as the crisis keeps evolving. The economic impacts will be massive, on par with the 1997 to 98 Asian financial crisis, or perhaps even greater. To give a few numbers to highlight the growing problems, China is ASEAN's biggest external trade partner and accounts for 17.1% of ASEAN's total trade. Additionally, it contributed 6.5% to ASEAN's total FDI, or foreign direct investment inflows too. The Southeast Asian countries' manufacturing and tourism industries are heavily integrated with China, which has been a major driving force behind numerous economies in the ASEAN region. Apart from China, ASEAN's two other major trading partners, the EU and the United States, are also facing the brunt of the growing crisis. This in turn has not only affected Southeast Asia's trade from China, but also from the West. To make matters worse, the World Trade Organization has predicted world trade to fall between 13 and 32% in 2020. Such predictions have brought negative news for Southeast Asia too, with the IMF projecting growth rates of minus 0.6% for Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, and Thailand in 2020. This is down from its earlier forecast of positive 4.8%. In the current situation where global travel has slowed down to a trickle, Nikkei estimates that 8 of the 10 Southeast Asian countries will incur fiscal deficits if the number of tourists they receive in 2020 drops by half. This highlights the dangers of over-reliance on tourism to fuel economic growth. The problem of fewer tourists is only expected to exacerbate the issue of weak currencies and mounting national debt. According to the World Trade and Tourism Council, foreign travel contributed 13% to the regional gross domestic product of Southeast Asia in 2018, second only to the Caribbean islands. In the same year, foreign tourists generated $220 billion in revenue for Southeast Asia. To put this in context, this value exceeds revenues from both the automobile manufacturing industry that brought in $50 billion and the coal and oil production industry, which generated $160 billion for this region. Thailand is proving to be one of the worst affected countries in Southeast Asia in terms of tourism. Tourist revenue accounts for nearly 1/5 of the GDP of Thailand and provides 1 in 6 job opportunities in the country, most of which might get lost this year owing to the ongoing crisis. It is also important to note that China constitutes almost 30% of foreign visitors in Thailand, who bring a considerable amount of revenue to the Southeast Asian country. To get more specific, an unoccupied tour driver near the very famous Grand Palace in Bangkok lamented that there are about 60 to 70% fewer Chinese tourists compared to other years. Additionally, according to an article published online by the Thailand Business Review, anonymous sources from the Asian G Club Casino have stated that the number of foreign visitors playing slots in Southeast Asia have reduced from 15% all the way down to a mere 0.1%. The epidemic has impacted the entire Thai tourism industry, from small-scale businesses such as traditional dancers and the drivers of the Chiang Mai minibuses to luxurious hoteliers in the capital city of Bangkok. Cambodia is another Southeast Asian country that has a strong dependence upon tourism. Out of the 6.6 million visitors that visited the country last year, 2.2 million of them visited the Angkor Archaeological Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This centuries-old temple complex that has remained to be one of the most famous Cambodian attractions is now only being visited by a few local Cambodians who live in the country. As per Oxford Economics, a global economic advisory firm, almost 25% of Cambodia's economy is reliant upon travel and tourism, Furthermore, a research led by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development highlights the fact that tourism was directly responsible for employing 13.6% of the Cambodian workforce in 2017. To stress more upon the importance of tourism to this small landlocked Southeast Asian country, Cambodia earned approximately $4.92 billion through tourism in 2018. A significant impact of reduced tourism is also being experienced by the informal sector of countries like Thailand and Cambodia. For example, the tuk-tuk drivers who largely depend upon tourism as their source of livelihood are now finding it extremely difficult to survive. While the Cambodian government is trying to alleviate the conditions of its citizens by offering a monthly allowance of $40, this is much lesser than the usual $150 to $300 they used to earn before by being a part of the tourism industry. It has been predicted by experts that it will take years for Cambodia's tourism industry to recover completely from this crisis. Another economic channel through which Southeast Asia is experiencing the adverse economic impacts of COVID-19 is the disruption of the financial markets. As soon as the Dow Jones Industrial Average began to shed points in March, financial markets in Europe, Asia, and Latin America followed pursuit and experienced sharp declines too. The uncertainties associated with the crisis resulted in a rapid outflow of capital from the ASEAN region, causing a dive in the financial markets. With growing uncertainties, investors began to sell their assets in Southeast Asia to secure their financial prospects. Not only did this result in a downward pressure on asset prices in both the equity and fixed income markets, but also caused a rapid depreciation of the exchange rates across the region. Concentrating upon the stock market, a fourth of the stock market values were wiped away in Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam. The largest drop was witnessed in Vietnam, where the index fell by 29.3% between January and the end of March 2020. In addition, key currencies of this region such as the Thai baht, Indonesian rupiah, and the Singaporean dollar also experienced depreciation. For example, between end January and end March, the Indonesian rupiah dropped in value from IDR 13,662 per US dollar to IDR 16,367 per USD. This approximates to a 19.8% increase. Lastly, supply chain and market disruptions have also dealt a major dent to the Southeast Asian economies. This is because Southeast Asia's supply chains are heavily integrated with China's manufacturing sector. From construction in Singapore to garlic in Indonesia, all have been impacted by supply chain disruptions. US, China, and the EU are most impacted by the supply and demand shocks caused by the crisis. Unfortunately for Southeast Asia, these economies happen to be Southeast Asia's major trading partners and capture 50.3% of its trade. In 2018, China was the largest source of import for 9 out of 10 Southeast Asian economies and the largest or the second largest export destination for 7 of these economies in the same year. This highlights the extent to which the deteriorating condition of the Chinese, American, and European economies are impacting Southeast Asia too. Narrowing down upon this region, Vietnam is said to be one of the most vulnerable countries to a coronavirus supply shock in China. The assembly plants of a multitude of firms are currently at risk and at varying levels of slowdowns as the supply of components has been drying up from China since the beginning of this epidemic. As early as February, the Ministry of Industry and Trade had stated that mobile phones, electronics, and automotive manufacturers have been finding it difficult to acquire supplies and components from China due to the disruption caused by the virus. Large companies like Samsung, Nestle, Nike, and Adidas can be at a potential risk of running out of supplies and operating at lower capacities. Singapore too hasn't been able to escape from the impacts of supply chain disruption. According to an article published by South China Morning Post, companies like Straits Construction in Singapore have been facing problems on 2 fronts: availability of manual labor and construction materials. Out of the 35,292 cases in Singapore as of June 2nd, more than 90% of them are accounted by the migrant workers. This lack of manual labor is aggravated by the fact that Singapore companies rely upon migrant Chinese workers to perform higher skilled architectural and structural work. As for the construction materials, many of these companies are highly dependent upon China for materials like tiles, aluminium, metalworks, and doors. It is getting tougher and tougher to acquire such components. Many of the other Southeast Asian countries haven't been spared either. In Indonesia, an owner of a nickel and zinc mining and smelting company is worried since only the Chinese workers who have been stuck in China had been trained to use their ore smelters. At the same time, the price of garlic shot up by 70% in Indonesia since China accounts for 90% of Indonesia's garlic imports. The prices shot up over growing concerns of a reduction in supply. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, citizens witnessed the disappearance of toilet paper off the shelves as fear regarding its supply from China began to grapple the people. Lastly, Philippines recorded a 62.5% decrease in the total volume of containers from China in the first 18 days of February itself. According to Christine Pardinas, the president of the Supply Chain Management Association of the Philippines, a good percentage of Philippines' imported goods and raw materials come from China. This can have a large impact upon manufacturers, retailers, and distributors alike. The ongoing crisis has already adversely impacted the Southeast Asian economies, and it has the potential to do a lot more. In these situations, governments across the region are adopting different policies to tackle the issue and minimize the financial and economic impacts. Most of the Southeast Asian countries have enough room to implement active monetary and fiscal policies. Through easing the monetary policy and reducing the benchmark interest rates, firms and individuals will be able to borrow more from banks at a cheaper rate. This might induce borrowings and investments that in turn will increase the total circulation of money in the economy and might stimulate economic growth too. On May 28, Thailand, through its central bank, cut its benchmark interest rate to 0.5%. So far, Thailand has cut its benchmark interest rate 3 times, with total cuts adding up to 1.25%. Similarly, Bank Negara Malaysia cut its benchmark interest rate to 2% on May 5th. Along with Thailand and Malaysia, Philippines too has cut its benchmark interest rate 3 times since the beginning of 2020. In addition to interest rates, countries have also lowered required reserve ratio, set up lending funds to facilitate lending to affected firms, and temporarily suspended loan and interest repayments. Specifically, countries are adopting policies targeted towards supporting the vulnerable SMEs or the small and medium-sized enterprises and the informal secondary sector. While Malaysian and Singaporean governments are supporting their SMEs to adapt to the new conditions by adopting electronic commerce and digitization, Thailand is easing regulations to allow for additional loans to SMEs and to provide more social welfare and food assistance to the workers that have been laid off. While numerous measures are being adopted to support businesses and households, only time will tell if they prove to be effective and minimize the economic fallout that the ongoing crisis is causing.